Hey everybody, it is Rebecca from Revenue. Today we're talking about Nexus and sourcing. Thank you all for joining us. Joining me today are my colleagues at the Department of Revenue, both in the communications and in the technical tax staff, as well as the Philadelphia Law Department. They were all online to help answer your questions about when does the city of Philadelphia have the authority to tax you, and how do you know what is and isn't taxable? So we're going to get started. All right, I'm going to try and operate lots of things all at once. Okay, for the agenda for the day, the first thing that we're going to talk about is what is Nexus, which is basically like just a fancy legal concept for like does a jurisdiction have, what's the connection between you and a jurisdiction for them to have an authority to tax you? Is your business creating Nexus? How do you know when your business is taxable in Philadelphia? And how do you know which sales are taxable in Philadelphia? The short answer, it depends. We're going to get into it. All right, so what is Nexus? So from the top, it's just a legal concept to explain the link between a jurisdiction and your business. So when a nexus sort of occurs, it means, in this case, the city of Philadelphia has the authority to tax you. This is most important when we're talking about two taxes specifically: the business income and receipts tax, or BIRT, and the net profits tax. We have a Revenue 101 on the youtube.com/PhilaRevenue. So feel free to check that out if you want a more in-depth look at both of those taxes. We get into them specifically about how they work and how they interact, and that's a really, really good video. But so this video today is only going to cover Nexus and Philadelphia sales. The first question that you need to ask yourself is, where is my business located? Because it makes a big difference. If your business is located in Philadelphia, your business has what's called a physical presence. It has Nexus. It means that we have the authority to tax your business. It's in Philadelphia. It's your business is subject to the Philadelphia tax, and you have a responsibility to file a BIRT return. However, that doesn't mean that every sale is a taxable sale. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about that next. If you are a business owner that's subject to the net profits tax and you're a resident of Philadelphia, 100% of your profits of your business are subject to the net profits tax, no matter where the sales took place. We're going to get more into that. What if my business is not in Philadelphia, but you do business in Philadelphia? All right, so there's two things that are happening here. One, let's say if you sell items in Philadelphia, but you're not physically located in Philadelphia, only the sales that occurred in Philadelphia are taxable. And you are only taxable in Philadelphia after you've had $100,000 worth of sales in Philadelphia. This is called economic nexus. We basically set a threshold for folks who are outside of the city before Nexus sort of kicks in. Now, if your business creates a service, or if you perform a service, you come to Philadelphia, you install windows, or you are a window cleaner or a plumber, but you're based in Chester County, but you come to Philadelphia to do work, you're in Philadelphia to do the service. So even if your business is located outside of Philadelphia, when you come inside the city to do your service, it creates physical presence, just as if you were located here, and then you have Nexus, and then you're taxable for those particular sales. This is the same for net profits too, only if you don't live here. You owe net profits tax on the profit you made on the sales in Philadelphia. Here's a sidebar. This is something that's very interesting, that especially during, let's say, the pandemic, when lots of people were working from home. What if I am working from home for a company that's located in another city or state? You could be creating Nexus in Philadelphia. If you're working from home for a company not located in Philadelphia, it is possible that the activity is considered doing business here in Philly, and it's creating Nexus for your company. Your company needs to work with a tax professional to get a full understanding of the law. and how this may affect their taxes. So that's kind of that's something that people don't always understand. But so that's why we included it here. How that's another way that your company can create Nexus in Philadelphia. All right, so you've determined that your business is subject to Philadelphia taxes. Now what? Okay, this is important. When we talk about BERT, even if you are located in Philadelphia, sales outside of Philadelphia are not taxable. But you have to start with a few questions. First of all, do you sell tangible personal property? Do you just sell jaunts? Do you sell candles or cookies or widgets or whatever that thing is? Baked goods. Only the sales that occur in Philadelphia are taxable. We consider the sale to occur where the product is delivered. So if you sell your items at a farmer's market outside of Philadelphia, those sales are not taxable for BERT. If you sell items over the internet that are shipped outside of Philadelphia, those are not subject to BERT. This is one of the reasons it is so important for you to keep detailed records of where your sales are. This sidebar though, if you pay BERT, right, you separate it out. If you live in Philadelphia and you pay BERT and you separate out those items, that's correct. However, if you live in Philadelphia and you're subject to the net profits tax, 100% of your profits are going to be subject to NPT no matter where the sale occurred. So that's sidebar on that one. All right, what if you sell a service? This is different. So when you sell a service, I don't know, like graphic design, professional services, or even like house cleaning, the sales of service are different. We consider the sale to happen wherever the work happens. So if you're a graphic designer and you work out of your home in Philadelphia, even if your client is in New York, we consider that to be a sale in Philadelphia. If you go to a client site, for example, you're an architect and you're on site at a building in Chicago, the work you do in Chicago is not taxable. If you clean houses, only the houses that you clean in Philadelphia are taxable work. But sidebar, that earlier sidebar still applies. If you live in Philadelphia, 100% of the profit of your business is going to be subject to the net profits tax, no matter where the work occurred. And this works both ways. Okay, so if a Chicago-based architecture firm is on site here in Philly, we consider the work that's occurring here. We consider them being here as creating physical presence, and that work would be subject to Philadelphia tax. That $100,000 like sales limit doesn't apply to services when you're doing the service here in Philadelphia. All right, so we're going to talk about sales tax, but I want to be really careful because sales tax is not our tax. That is a tax that it's administered by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So I want to be really careful about answering those questions. If you have questions about sales tax, I encourage you to check out the Commonwealth's website at revenue.pa.gov. We'll put the full link in the chat. But the thing that you need to know for Philadelphia is that there's two halves. There's a 6% that is the sales tax for all across Pennsylvania, and an additional 2% for things sold in Philadelphia. Both parts are paid to the Commonwealth, to Pennsylvania on their website. So you will need to set up an account on PA's MyPath website. Under current Pennsylvania law, a purchase occurs where the seller is where the sale, I don't know if I have this right. Where the sale has taken place. So the additional 2% tax only applies to sales in Philadelphia. So sales of items delivered to an out-of-city location are not subject to the local 2%, but you will need to collect the 6% for Pennsylvania. All right, law department folks, make sure I got that right. I'm like stumbling on my script. I apologize. Okay.
Yes, I think you're good. Keep going.
Thanks, Marisa. Sales tax are kind of complicated and the rules are kind of complicated. I encourage you, again, work with a professional always. What about gig workers? This is also a really big conversation. It's a whole different webinar. It's something that we are thinking about a lot. However, here's what we're going to say for now in the context of this webinar. We consider anyone who receives a 1099 a business. That means that you will need to file and pay the business income and receipts tax, and assuming that you're not a corporation, the net profits tax. And you might not have had to pay the BERT in the past because of the exemption, but that changed starting in 2025. So this year, in 2026, you will need to pay. Again, work with a professional. Keep track of your receipts and expenses. Like, for example, if you are a driver, like a rideshare driver, the wear and tear on your vehicle and other expenses you incur can be deducted from your profits, and that reduces your tax liability. But every situation is different, and that's why we encourage you to work with a professional. For those of you who had less than $250,000 of sales in the last year, the Department of Commerce is offering a free tax preparation program, or they're connecting businesses to free tax preparation through their program. We'll put the link in the chat. Also, while I'm here, I would encourage all of you to check out Commerce's programs that help businesses grow, including things like grant programs like the Catalyst Fund, storefront improvement programs, their security camera programs. There are programs to help you purchase real estate. If you are putting more money in the system, you should get more out of it. So we'll put those links in the chat, phila.gov/commerce. Okay. But anyway, we'll do another big gig economy or big gig worker webinar in the future, but we felt like if you're doing TaskRabbit, if you're doing rideshare company stuff, if you're doing anything where you get a 1099, you need to know what is taxable for your own self. So that's part of the reason we thought we'd include it here, but it's a much bigger conversation. How does the city of Philadelphia even know if you're doing business in the city of Philadelphia? That is a great question. Here's how we know. The city of Philadelphia has data sharing agreements with both the IRS, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and all of the other states who are members of the Multi-State Tax Commission. So if folks report income to other places, but not in Philadelphia, we will eventually find out about it. You might get a letter from us asking about that income. And keep in mind that when you report your income to the IRS, you're going to report your income in 2026. That's for all your activity in 2025. And the IRS isn't going to share that activity with us until 2027. And it might not go through our systems until after that. So you could get a letter from us in 2028 asking us about stuff that happened in 2025. So be aware, that's kind of the timeline of what we're talking about. Tax problems don't go away. So if you get a letter from us, please, please, please respond to it. What should you do? Number one, verify that it's a legitimate letter. Every letter coming from the city of Philadelphia has a 10-digit letter identification number in the upper right-hand corner. And we have a sample of that here. It's up in the corner. It's kind of blocked out here, but up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a letter it's a letter L and it's 10 digits. You can verify that letter ID by visiting our website. You can verify it at tax-services.phila.gov using the respond to a letter panel. If you enter in that letter ID, it'll tell you, oh, great, this is how you can respond to us. This is how you can submit documents. You should only submit documents through that secure website. Please don't send us documents through email. That's not confidential. It's very interceptable. Like, folks can get access to that. Please, you're going to be sending us documents that probably have your social security number or other income information. Don't send that through email. Only upload documents to our website, tax-services.phila.gov. We will never text you about a potential tax liability. We will never text you about a refund. We will never ask you for personal information over the phone. What we will be asking for, if you call us, we will verify your identity, but we're not asking you to give us specific information, okay? through the phone. We're going to ask you to send that to us through our secure website.
And very likely not over SMS, text messages, social media, a very random request that we initiate, identify as the revenue department, that it's probably a scam. Try to avoid it. Don't fall for it. There's many impersonators, but it's very unlikely we will initiate a request over SMS text messages.
Right. So on the tax center, there is actually a little panel. It says respond to a letter. This is where you would go to the front tax-services.phila.gov. You'll see it there. You can enter in the letter ID and your identification, and it'll pop up and it'll tell you, oh no, this isn't legitimate. That's not a real number. That's not a real letter. Or this letter expired 2 months ago if somebody was just trying to send random stuff. So you will be able to see if it's legitimate. For every presentation we do, we include this slide, how to get a hold of us. Revenue@phila.gov is a great email address for any of your general account questions. So if you just need to resolve one particular account issue, send it there. You can call us, but I recommend emailing us because then you get your answer in writing and you don't have to wait on the phone. Tax.clearance@phila.gov is for tax clearance issues. Revenue tax advisors at phila.gov is for technical tax issues. That's for like, I have a weird tax situation and I don't know if this thing applies to me. We can help answer those questions there. We encourage everyone. Oh, we included a slide about the free tax preparation. We put those links in the chat. You must be based in Philadelphia and you need to have earned less than $250,000 in the last year. Please sign up for a newsletter. That's how we're announcing any of these webinars. Also, very soon, we expect that there will be tax changes that are going to happen through the legislative process, through the city's budget process, rate changes, all kinds of things that are kind of in the hopper. The fastest way that we can get that information to you is through our electronic newsletter. So please sign up for that. And we only send you information that you need, like let's say rates or deadlines or programs that are probably important. We don't share our list with anyone else. So I hope you sign up for that. And I hope we can check for questions in the chat. Please stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/PhilaRevenue. I hope this was helpful. I'm noticing some stuff in the chat. Let's see what we've got.
I can read one of the questions that we just got from Natalia. Natalia says, I have a question on remote suburban service providers who serve clients in Philadelphia but do not set their foot in the city. Are they not subject to tax? In parentheses, services are subject to cost of performance concept, meaning taxable to the city only if physically performed in the city, end parentheses. Or do they have economic nexus trigger once they surpass $100,000 in receipts from services rendered remotely?
This is a great question. So I'm going to answer it, and then the law department and technical staff will tell me if I'm wrong. If you are offering a service and you are a graphic designer sitting in your home in Bucks County, your client is here in Philadelphia, the work has occurred in Bucks County and it is not taxable for BERT purposes. And there is not a threshold for that amount. Right, Marisa? I've got that right?
You've got that right.